good book. You read good book. You read good book. We read good book. See read good book. The read good book. And now we are ready to talk about the book. Hey everybody, welcome to the inaugural episode of Reading Pager.
Fuck.
As you can tell, we're putting it together as we go along. We're really, really excited. Thank you all so much for tuning in on a Friday night special edition of our little show. It's Reading Pager. Hey everybody, I'm Connor Clifton. And right up top, we're joined by our guest today, Travis Reyes. Hey, Travis, how's it going?
It's going. I had to read this book, so...
Correction, you got to read this book.
I did. I got the privilege of being horny to this book.
You got horny to this book? We could talk about this later, but you did. You know what? We'll circle back to that question as we go on.
Nick in the chat said READ, like AC/DC logo.
That's fun. Okay, so yeah, again, this is our first one, but we decided to read a book that we found on the internet, and it's called My Antifa Lover, Riot of the Heart.
Oh, I've actually got a copy here too.
It's it's written by Jessica Stranger, and it's a fucking wacky book. Travis, what are your first impressions I told you a little rundown before we go into basically the plot of the book. What are your first impressions?
Well, so when we were like texting back and forth about it, you said the print is large. And I didn't realize it would be like a Richard Scarry, like children's book large. Like it's like 4 words per page on the iPad edition. I don't know. I don't think this is a real human person who wrote this book. That's my first impression.
Our most discussion in this house about the book has been about who wrote this, how many of whatever it is wrote this. Possibly bugs? I don't know. I think it's a child that got some help from like a message board.
So it's going to be a lot easier for us to make jokes about the book and get the audience involved if they know what happened.
True.
Why don't we just go real quick through the book? Ooh, our food's here. That's good news.
Oh yeah. So I mean, this is technically a book club.
That's
right.
We
I got some stuff for the book club.
Before we actually get into the book, Ned did make a point of it to trying to find out what would make a book club successful. I haven't been in a book club since college. Travis, have you been in any book clubs?
I haven't, no.
You have not been in any book clubs?
No.
Okay. Some are fun. Some are really boring. In college, I was in, what's that, Ned?
This is a sharding board.
A shark shooting board?
Yeah, this is my shark shooting board. I was going to make tea, and then I actually forgot to do that bit before we started recording.
Ned, have you ever been in any book clubs?
I have not. I've been in an English class, and that's about it.
Okay, man, that's kind of a book club. Well, book clubs can be fun because reading is fun, and reading with your friends and talking about the same book with your friends is going to be really, really fun, and I'm really excited for us to get into it. So what are some ways that we can make this a fun book club for you, Travis?
Ooh, for me, I know you already had the snacks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Bouncy House?
Bouncy House would be great.
That'd be pretty good.
It would be great. And Ned got the charcuterie board, and let me get what I got.
Oh, you got something as well. I'm also seeing here you need like a cool clubhouse. I guess this is our house.
Like in a tree?
I don't know what they mean by that. I think these people have like breakfast nooks and stuff that they can consider a clubhouse. This website's not doing too hot. Create a process to nominate the books you read. Oh, God.
I got Marcos. Oh. We got a meatball sub this time.
That is truly a shark shooting board. Yeah, I don't know if any of these tips are really going to help us, Connor. We've got the cool place. We're shooting in front of our best door. I see Travis is shooting in front of his best door as well.
Yeah.
That is the best door. That's a window, actually. It's my
That is
best
a
window.
Oh god, I'm looking at a little thumbnail. Oh yeah, it's clearly a window.
Hey, actually, windows make the best doors. Confucius.
Jessica Stranger.
So, I've read the description of this book before, and I'll read it again. A young congresswoman falls in love with a daring masked protester in Seattle, Washington. After encountering him at a non-violent burning down of a federal building, she can't tell what is hotter, the fire or her feelings developing for him. I will say right off the bat, that is a very misleading description of the plot.
Yeah, that's a description for a different book, I think.
So, a quick run through of the book here. It opens on the main character, Alexandria. It opens on her point of view as she is in a building that is burning down. So, from there, you're like, okay, this checks out. Burning building. Maybe this is what it's, advertised as. And then it goes into the future, where she is a congresswoman who is
past, right?
It goes back to the past. It flashes back to 2 months ago, and she is a congresswoman.
Because she writes that in there like it's like a screenplay.
Flashback to 2 months ago.
2 months earlier.
So she is introducing a bill about divorce. And this new bill says that if men want to get a divorce from their wives, they have to pay their wives $1 million. Right. And there is a protest happening outside, and there's a very handsome man who asks her, would you want this law if you were a man? And it really fucks with her. What she said?
She's like, I've never thought about it this way, the way you said it before.
Would you have passed this bill if you ever a man? Tip of the iceberg. Strap in, folks. That's basically how this book is written.
That's how Antifa talks to politicians. If you are a man, would this law be good?
It's newspeak, to be honest. It's kind of
code.
Orwellian. Yeah. hey, before we keep moving on, who's that cute little pup?
Oh, that's my dog, Iverson.
Hey, Iverson.
Iverson, oh.
That's a cute name.
He's being crazy. I've been at work all day, so he's, yeah.
So if the book moves along, Alexandria is really just affected by this guy's question. Necromancy is saying, what's her last name? Oh, Nick, you're asking questions that are only answered in the last chapter, my friend.
In the last page.
The very last page. Which, I can't even tell you how it's brought up or I'll spoil the ending.
Yeah, if you think the last name is confusing, get ready for the family tree.
So Alexandria, who is currently in Seattle in Washington, it's her day off after she introduces this bill that's going to cost $1 million for men to get a divorce. And she goes on a walk to a place that she always went to in her childhood to kind of escape from it all. And that's when she's encountered by the handsome man who questioned her.
From earlier.
Yeah, whose name is Corner Smith.
I thought that was a typo, and then they kept saying corner throughout the book, and it was like...
I got...
It just kept going.
I got a message...
Oh, Connor, she just spelled it wrong, and then they kept calling him Corner.
I got a message from one of my friends who was reading this along with us, and it was just like, I keep calling you Corner to my friends. Fucking sucked. I hate that his name is Corner. I hate it so much. And
to be fair, would you pass this law if you a man is something a person named Corner would say?
Hello, my name is Corner. Would you pass this law if you ever a man?
Real NPC name and dialogue. Just walking into a wall.
He's a glitchy cyberpunk character. If you a man, would you pass this law?
Please tell me she moans, "Oh, Corner, make me come at some point, please." Look.
We're not trying to get everyone off the chat right away, but should we talk about the sexual content of this book?
There is none.
Zero.
Really none.
There is no sex. There is one kiss.
Barely.
Yeah, it's one.
I think that the kiss even happens between a page break.
I think it does. I think it's just like, and what happens next? You will be surprised. And then the next paragraph is, Wow, what a kiss. It's so awful. There's zero sex. So far, this is reading like it's written by a divorced AI. It's funny you say that. So when she's talking about this law, I underlined some stuff about this law that she introduced. The divorces which were mostly made by the husbands in the relationship as per research. And so the new law enforced the husband to pay $1 million to his wife if he wants to divorce her. I agreed to this matter for the sake of upcoming generations and for personal reasons as well, which I didn't want to think about right now.
Okay, so once we get farther on, I have a nitpicky. I'll get to it yeah.
What you got?
No, please.
Okay, so when she says for personal reasons, at one point she says, I did it because of what happened to my sister. And then later when she's talking about the forest behind her house, she goes like, yeah, I'm lonely because I had to move here from Washington. I had to move here from like Wyoming.
Nashville.
Nashville.
She moved from Nashville. That's revealed in chapter 3.
Seattle, but she describes this forest as somewhere she went growing up.
Yeah, it's also interesting. I don't think she really knows how our government functions, or
I think she thinks Seattle, Washington is in Washington, D.C.
that's what I
was saying.
Yeah, I was like, I'm pretty sure this person like doesn't even understand where our politics happen. Because she's in Seattle, which is not the capital of Washington, and she keeps saying like the leader of the Congress House is here.
She never says Congress. It's always Congress House. Like, this is happening at Congress House.
But so she says she goes to this like forest she grew up like going to, but she's not from that state. And earlier she's like, I'm doing this divorce law because of my sister. And then she says, I'm lonely. The only family I have is my mom and my brother who...
She goes out of her way to like retcon her family. She's like, my mother, my brother, no one
She's
else.
just like an insane congresswoman who has like brain damage and is just like, no divorces because my sister.
I do think it's so awful. It's so bad.
She also says like, this is like some weird dystopian future because she's like, divorce rates are now at 80%, which 80% of marriages are failing in this weird...
Divorces have skyrocketed after the Corpo Wars. It's so fucking stupid. Okay, let's get back to the plot here. So she runs in the Corner at the forest, and Corner's just like kind of being smug. He's like, "Come on, don't you think about that bill?" And she's just so mad. She's just so mad at how handsome he is.
Sorry, I don't mean. Corner also says the craziest thing. He goes like, "Look, I'm not stalking you. I come to this forest every Monday and Friday."
That's right. And seeing you here is a coincidence.
He says he's not stalking, but like later on in the book, he like puts a GPS tracking system on her car.
All right. We're getting ahead of ourselves here. So then she's so mad at that Corner, and they leave the forest. And it's been, the next chapter opens up with, it's been 10 days. It's 10 days since the meeting with that fallen angel that decided to show up in my life. So she hook, line, and sinker. Meanwhile, the bill was passed by the Congress, even with all the protesters claiming to take it back. So that's good. And if the bill was currently under review of the Senate, if the Senate approved it, then nobody can stop this law from taking place. Not even the president, apparently. Oh no. Which is, again, like I'm a politics guy, you know, and I was cringing at every clear display of a lack of understanding of our government.
She could at least read the Wikipedia on like how a bill is passed.
She could use the word Antifa in the book.
She did not mention the word Antifa. But in chapter 3, that's where we meet another significant character of this book, which is the leader of the head of the Congress House, Benedict Wilbur. And Benedict Wilbur is important. He's we would call him the Speaker of the House, basically, or the party majority leader, something like that.
But that doesn't make sense. It makes much more sense to say the leader of the Congress House.
Mm-hmm. So the bill passes, and she immediately goes on vacation for like a weekend, goes home, is alone, ends up just like watching TV by herself, eating Chinese food, when suddenly she hears a noise outside at 12:20 a.m. And there's a big crowd of protesters with banners, and they're throwing bricks
And
at her
guns.
house.
Don't forget guns. They have guns.
That's
She's
not
like,
true. They do have guns.
it's like some weird like Syrian, like they're overthrowing like a dictator outside of her weird house.
Get her!
They very easily breach her security and are just like outside of her house. And she calls Corner, who gave her number at the park, and he says, "Hello." He sounds tired, but she's convinced he's leading this assault on her house. She says, "I fucking hate you, Corner Smith. You ruined my fucking life, and you don't even know it.
Yeah, warning, language in this book, lots of fuck words.
I hope you die somewhere in a ditch. I hope no one ever loves you. You didn't even let me try." Which makes no fucking sense. These are two manic people. Just
Yeah.
like...
She's just doing that Under 3000 part from that Roses song where he's like, "I hope you end up in a ditch." She's just doing that to this like weird protester guy.
And then this passage gets very intense. Someone throws a rock through the window, and the window like
explodes into like, I think you described it as X-Men.
yeah, it feels like
shards of
an
glass.
X-Men who can move glass just pushes all this glass into her arms, and then she starts to pass out, and someone picks her up and carries her out, and it's Corner. And one of my favorite passages, she says, "I squinted my heavy eyelids open and tried to frown angrily at the face to show my distress. Blah, blah, blah. I still managed to frown and pout and say, 'Can't you see I'm trying to sleep?'" And the way she writes it phonetically.
She's like a Looney Tunes cartoon.
"Can't you see I'm trying to sleep?"
Big old cigar coming
Birds
out.
fly
Yeah.
around her head.
Yeah.
It's like, "Can't ya, Y-U-H, see I'm, E-M, trying to, T-U-H." It's so awful. So then the last thing she says before she passes out to Corner is, "Tells him I was against the law." Which is so fucking stupid.
Wait. So that's where I get confused. So she's like, "Tell him I was against this law that I explicitly was like, I love this law because of my sister." Like 10 pages before.
But she had never thought of as a man.
No,
Because this guy's like, if you a man, would
if you ever a
like,
man.
"Oh, I never thought of being a man.
I never thought ever a man.
I never thought how fucked up it is to charge a husband $1 million to leave his wife."
Huh.
Thought about
I
that
sound kind
fucking
of crazy,
stupid
don't
ass
I?
shit.
That is the extent of the politics in this book.
Yeah.
This person clearly thinks that divorce should be heavily penalized.
Well, and she also at one point says, what's his name, Wilford Brimley or whatever the
Benedict Wilbur.
yeah, she's like, he wants to end the police, and it never comes back in any way. Spoiler alert. She like says this, so this is when like he's supposed to be Bernie, right?
I don't think he is Bernie. Maybe he is. I don't know.
Because
But
the police thing seemed weird and like a shot at good people.
I don't know. I have no idea. Like it's so vague, the politics of this book.
Yeah, I actually didn't throughout the entire book even think about that character having politics. He's just the leader of the Congress House.
Yeah.
Wants to abolish the police, and that's
It's pretty nuts.
and also make marriage and make divorce illegal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the
Which, how would you enforce it without the police, buddy?
think about it.
Yeah, come on. So chapter number 4, they're in the hospital, or she's in the hospital, and Coroner comes to visit her like every day, and waits until she's fine, and then
Is it every day? They refer to it like she just got out of the hospital like the next day.
that's true. She does get out of there like after 3 hours.
Because I wanted to make a lot of comments. She talks about she has stitches and how they're healing very fast. And she's like, my wounds are done by like the end of the weekend. And like, just more
Wolverine.
X-Men shit. Yeah.
Wolverine. She got what the wound gave her mutant powers and knocked her like southern, like into a cartoon redneck. Those are, like the two things that put Riot into her.
Just imagine getting knocked out and waking up and be like, "Oh my lord, did somebody get the number of that truck?" All right. moving along. She's ready to leave the hospital, and she realizes, like, oh my God, my house is full of glass because of the protesters. And Coroner says, hey, why don't you come stay with me? You know, I got an extra room. I'm never there. I'm always visiting family or whatever. So weird. Then she's just like staying at Coroner's place, and she hates him so much because he makes big breakfasts and he watches animal documentaries with her. And
big plot point. Them watching animal documentaries together.
You think that's where the sex is going to happen at one point later, and then they just like laugh and go off to their separate bedrooms to sleep.
I did think they'd like watch animals mate and then just be like, ooh, here we go.
They go, all right, time for bed. It's 11:30, and then go to their separate I Love Lucy bedrooms. And
but instead, she just like hits him with a pillow and intentionally pouts. And that's about as much as it goes. Like, it's very much like a church group. It's very much like an evangelical church group. You watch documentaries together. You hit each other with pillows, and then if it gets sexual at all, you're like, and then what do you do? It's like,
there is like
nothing.
a very weird part where she spends like 2 pages talking about like this fake nature documentary where a tiger is running and breaks its legs.
and how they're having an argument.
How did the tiger break his legs? And the Coroner is like, they just run so fast their legs explode. She's like, no, you can trip on the ground. And he's like, no, you can't. And it's like 2 pages of the book.
That is 2 pages.
That's their like cute moment. It's like the lobsters in Annie Hall.
Okay, but while they're flirting, it is revealed that Coroner grabbed a microphone during the riot at her house and told everyone she's against the law. And she said, how did you know? He goes, I just did.
I just guessed.
So, yeah, so she didn't tell him at that point, like, hey, I'm against the law. He just told everyone she was, and turns out she was.
So that worked out.
Yeah.
And she said it when she got knocked into a Beverly Hillbilly. She was like, oh, I'm against the law.
So, let's see. Oh, yeah, here we go. So, So
Oh, dead ass. That's what it was.
I underlined this. So while they're arguing about the tiger, he says, I'm telling you, I'm just going to read a passage from this book real quick. I'm telling you, Alexandria, the tiger breaks his own legs while running because he cannot control how fast he runs, he said assuredly. No, he did not break his legs because he was running too fast. He broke his legs because he tripped. I pointed at the screen. What, on plain grass? He scoffed, rolling his eyes. It's true. It can happen. People trip on the plain ground all the time. I said with indifference to his words. I was trying to prove my point that animals can also make mistakes. Yeah, because they're dead-ass clumsy.
He started to like Ghostface Killer for like 1 second.
Dude, there's like 2 to 3 lines like that throughout the book that like every idea I had of who was writing this book, I'll read dead-ass and be like, huh? That's why I feel like a message board had some like extra.
Well, they also had a part where it's
something.
like, I escape here to get away from all of the things.
See, okay, so there's that shit. Then every time she talks about time, there's this like weird specificity in everything. She's like, we got to the restaurant. It took us 10 minutes. Then in 5 minutes, we were seated. It took us 10 minutes to get our menu. It's like so fucking. It looks like they're like writing this using wiki answers or something. Like
it's like the same thing when she's talking about how tall Coroner is. She was like, I'm 5'4", and he is 4 to 5 inches taller than me. And it's like, all right, he's like 5'8", 5'9". Why would you make him taller?
Okay,
why would you make Dream Guy like 6'3".
Slender Man. Yeah.
So we were incorrect in our kiss assessment. They kissed on the lips once. Coroner kisses her on the forehead like a billion fucking times.
Okay, I was gonna say I think he kissed her in the fire.
He's just like on her forehead apparently,
like a fucking lollipop.
Okay, so they flirt a little bit. A pillow fight happens. Then he's like, "Hey, do you want to sleep in my bed? We can just sweep." And that's what they do. They just sweep. Then she goes to work the next day at the Congress House, and there's a bunch of journalists.
Oh yeah, she has a big show there.
Yeah, they do not write the scene, but it just picks up. It stops where she falls asleep with him and picks up right after she told everyone at the press conference that she is against the law. Now, the divorce law. And everyone's really mad at her. And she walks by Benedict Wilbur's office, and this passage made me laugh a lot. I decided she hears arguing inside Benedict Wilbur's office, and I decided to creak the door a little bit open so the voices will come out. I knew the doors didn't make the creaking sounds because everything was well set in the Congress House.
Yep. No creaking in the Congress House.
Clearly written before the 6th of January, right?
Finish him.
Okay. And she hears fighting Benedict Wilbur says stuff like, you don't know what you're getting yourself into. This will ruin everything for you and for that pretty girl. And he can't understand it. And then she looks in, and the person Wilbur's arguing with turns around, and it's Corner. Corner in the office of Wilbur?
Huh?
Fighting? That's how the next chapter opens. She argues with Corner.
Isn't that like a weird thing at the beginning of the chapter where it's like, what? How?
What? Huh? Who the? Yeah, that's how that opens up. Corner sees her, and he's just like shocked. He's like, oh my God, you were there. Hey, what's up, Alexandria? And she goes out to eat with him.
He actually says, oh, I was just about to see you backstage at Congress.
Yeah. Which anybody could get into Congress, apparently.
Oh, by the way, when they're when they meet outside of the Congress House, her security guard, who's the same person that like let her get hit with rocks, is like, hey, should I like protect you? And she's like, no, I'm gonna get in the car with this like weird freak who was lying to me.
Dude, that bodyguard throughout the book is like so fucking bad.
Roddick. That's his name.
Yeah,
Sam was
Roddick.
always like, yeah, I'm just gonna stay at this like weird guy's house. I'm just gonna go walk in the woods. Like, all right. He's just like,
And
what's her
even
doing?
several times faced with direct danger. And it's like, and then he got past Roderick somehow. It's like, what are you doing?
It's so weird. So she goes out to eat with him, and they have a nice little date. And she gets a text from Benedict Wilbur. Meet me in my office at 6 p.m. I have something important to discuss with you. Don't tell your boyfriend Corner, a.k.a. Chris.
What? Corner was a fake name?
And in that moment, that just made me immediately, and it entered the zeitgeist on my Twitter timeline recently. But that, like, dear loser, Chris.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Like, that's exactly what I thought. So yeah, she goes to meet Benedict Wilbur.
Dude, fucking egg on my face when they're like, yeah, it was a fake name. Did you not know that? I was like, oh, God damn it.
So Wilbur gives her a birth certificate for Chris Wilbur, son of Benedict Wilbur.
Well, hold on. Then she goes like, Chris Wilbur? I thought his name was like Corner Smith. And he goes, yes, he changed his surname, but very clever. And it's like, she'd know it was him if he's like, yeah, my name's Corner Wilbur. She'd be like, oh, like that psycho who wants to abolish the police and make it impossible to divorce your wife for some reason.
That's so funny. Oh, he changed his last name too? Clever girl. Like,
I can't go by Corner Cruz, Dad. I gotta go by Corner Cornyn. Nobody will ever figure out who I am.
Yeah, the main villain guy,
Benedict Wilbur.
whatever the fuck his name is.
Benedict Redenbacher.
It's so weird 'cause
Womberbatch.
he does have, like weird like Ron Paul, like no one can get divorced, but he's also like no police for anyone.
Yeah, I kept trying to figure out like who the parallel was. I know you said Bernie earlier. Ron Paul's pretty close too. Maybe like a Chuck Schumer. I don't know. I really
I'm
don't
just
know.
trying to think of who this lady would know as politicians.
She reminds me of Elise Stefanik, or Stefanik, like the freshman or sophomore Republican person in the House. I think she's from like upstate New York, but that's who I thought it was supposed to be. Of it's like I'm the new darling of the party, and like I'm on their side. So I don't know. It just felt weird.
I think this person doesn't know who politicians are.
Clearly doesn't. What about Corner Clifton? I am blocking that from the chat. Nah, just kidding. Yeah, I saw that. That's part of the reason why I hated that name. Okay, so then Benedict Wilbur revealed that's my son. You're falling in love with my son, and she's so hurt. She's so mad. She runs out of Congress, and there's Corner, and she just like yells at him and says, "Goodbye, Chris." And
one thing she constantly like says though when her character is angry is like venom was dripping from my voice. Like she says it like 12 times.
It's a lot of times.
it's a lot. I wrote in here while she's talking to Benedict Wilbur because he's making tea, and it's just like pissing her off.
Oh my.
And he said he was taking yet another sip of his tea. I wish from the bottom of my heart that it was poisonous, so he would die right now. And I wrote, this lady is fucking evil.
Like, yeah, what was that before? She's like, I don't want your fucking goddamn tea.
Yeah. I'm not here to play games, Mr. Wilbur.
Well, earlier in the book, when like Corner sees her at like the forest, he's like, "Hey, how's it going?" And she's like, "You're the guy who asked me that question. Get the fuck away from me." And it's like, you talk to your like constituents that way? You're just like,
I don't even know what a constituent is.
get the fuck away from me, I said venomously. A handsome man I want to bang.
With his pool eyes.
And his devilish smirk, I just want to smack off of his face.
His life-ending smirk.
So she calls him Chris. 6 days pass. Every day he calls her 25 times, endless text messages. She never picks him up, doesn't read the message. Tells Roddick, who finally listens, I guess, never let Chris come near me. And he's like, you got it. But believe it or not, somehow Chris gets through Roddick's defenses.
There's also like a long paragraph where she's like, yeah, he soon stopped calling. And then I just kept looking at my phone, being angry, like, why aren't you calling me? And it was
That's
wrong
why
with this lady.
you know, I want to go back to that like evangelical church group thing. Like I truly do think this is just some like weird, emotionally immature evangelical Christian romance bullshit.
That's why I'm like convinced this person is under 16 who wrote this.
You think it's a teenager?
I truly think this is a teenager who,
Okay.
who like did it on a message board, got a little help from their friends, used a lot of like wiki answers to like get like how far away is a restaurant? Like
Where is
fucking nuts
Congress?
Details. Yeah.
How much taller is 5'8" than 5'4"?
All right. Moving right along. Yeah, she gets no calls, no text. She's so upset. And then she gets a call from her secretary who says, hey, Alexandria, you have an unexpected meeting coming up. This weekend? No, actually it's today. I forgot to tell you. I'm really sorry. So she has to go to a conference at Congress, but it's at like some other building, which is not a federal building.
It's just like a trap house, right? It's like an abandoned house.
It's like
Yeah.
an abandoned warehouse.
Could be a Chapo trap house. I don't know.
Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, it's very big Scooby-Doo vibes. So she goes to this other building, and a lady there is just like, okay, give me your cell phone. Off you go. Wait, no, doesn't take her cell phone. She just said, hey, everyone's upstairs. Go, go, go. So she runs up, and as soon as I opened the door to the main hall, someone came up behind me. I turned around, and the person muffled my mouth with a hand, or muffled my scream with a hand on my mouth. Shit! I knew it was some type of trap. So yeah, bangs her head against the wall, and she starts to pass out. And then they burn the building.
Yeah.
They light the building on fire, and that's when she starts thinking about her family, which is just her mother and brother, and not her divorced sister. Which I read on the internet means that she was just murdered by her husband after he's like, I want a divorce from your life, and like cut her or something.
What if this lady thinks that when you die, you cease to exist, and that's why she's like, yep, all I have is a brother and a mom.
What
because
if-
my dad and my
Nothing
sister
else.
died, therefore.
What if, even worse, what if she thinks if you get a divorce, you cease to exist? She's like, my sister's alive, but she's divorced, so I don't talk to her.
She's been
Like
excommunicated.
they do divorce the way like Scientologists do when you leave like the church. Like your whole family just like shuns you when you get divorced.
We got some comments here that are pretty great. Everyone's doing really, really good. Odo Racecar said you can read that book from across the room. Yes, the font is fucking huge. Necromancy said Ned got a huge LOL out of me, but I don't know when that was sent. So.
No, that's I accidentally fucked up the stream. Don't worry about it.
I'm pretty sure. He also says, "I'm pretty sure this book is just a cover, and the inside is just SEO." Could be. Could be.
I'm pretty convinced. I feel like the back sentence was fed into an SE, like an AI, because it doesn't clear everything that's in the book. Like the sentence was written before the book, no doubt.
Let's see. Leland 88. This whole book would have been redeemed if she was converted to anti-fascism by the dick. You're right. I honestly.
That's something I want to talk about. This guy, it's called My Antifa Lover, but he doesn't do anything Antifa-ish. He's protesting the most insane law ever.
Yeah, and
A law that
also,
anyone would protest.
And like protesting is a generous stretch. He's just like, would you pass this bill if you ever a man?
And then he's not part of the weird mob who comes to like Gaddafi her in her house with like guns and like pitchforks and shit. He's not part. And then he like lives in like a nice house and drives a convertible.
Yeah, because his dad's the fucking head of Congress House.
When she asked him his job, he's like, "Oh yeah, I like working like I'm like a CEO or some like weird shit."
I just realized. I think she might think Antifa stands for anti-father.
Oh,
He doesn't
shit.
like his dad.
And they should have called it My Antifa Lover. All right. We also one thing I missed is Alexandria also misses her cat.
Maybe that's his sister. Maybe her cat got divorced. She's like,
Her sister gets a divorce and turns into a cat. Is that what you thought?
yeah, that's what happens in this universe when you get divorced.
You lose $1 million and turn into a cat.
Dude, win in Congress House.
That's why it's so important to make divorce illegal, because like 80% of marriages fail. That means like most of the population is just feral cats now. Roaming the United States. You need to end this pandemic.
So as the fire keeps burning, we flash forward to the present. Remember, this is a flashback.
Shows that text because it made me laugh so fucking loud when I pulled it up. Just gigantic. Flash forward to present. Now Chris's point of view.
And Chris has a fucking crazy time finding her because he reveals that he put a GPS on her car when Roddick wasn't looking. Called his father manipulative.
Again, driving the ball.
Yeah. Also called his father manipulative and deceptive. Right before he admits to putting a GPS on her car. He's fucking insane.
He's like, I was just getting anxious because I noticed she wasn't going to work and she was going somewhere else.
Now this really confused me. So he finds Alexandria and she's like passed out from smoke inhalation and she was there lying on the ground motionless. My heart strained in my chest as a bullet had just pierced through it. And that threw me for a loop. I don't know if he got shot in the heart or if she messed up the structure of a simile.
I think it was as if.
Okay.
Yeah.
It would rule if he got shot and just kept going in his chest.
That's what I thought. I
Shot
thought
hard and was like, no.
I thought I was getting like the ending of Metal Gear Solid 4 where he's just like, Gah! Like step by step falling apart and just getting like destroyed.
That'd be pretty great if like the last like third of this book was just beat for beat Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah, he's like, I turned behind me and there was a man in a box. His name was Corner. Okay, so Chris rescues her and carries her out. And the last thing he said before she passes out was, I love you, Alexandria. I love you, I said, kissing her forehead. So he says it twice and kisses her forehead a bunch. And they met, like, they had a day and a half together and then didn't talk for, like, 3 weeks. So I don't know much about love, but I'm pretty sure that ain't how it works.
Well, I think in this universe also, it's law that if you lay in the same bed, you are in love.
That's true.
That you're legally in love.
If this divorce law could get passed, who knows what fucking laws they have?
Yeah, who knows what's already established?
All right, and then finally, she wakes up in the hospital. Chris and Alexandria are fine, and they fall in love, and they don't kiss yet. But it flash forwards to the end of November. Election day is come and gone. They don't talk about that at all.
They didn't even say it was an election year.
And
So that weird
yeah,
paragraph.
technically, every year is an election year. Make sure you register to vote and look up for your nearest polling place. Now, let's see here. It's revealed that Chris's dad, Benedict Wilbur, was behind everything.
Fuck.
He made up a plan and threatened my security at gunpoint to give me false information about the meeting in that isolated building. 2 of his men were in charge of starting the fire, and 2 others locked me up in the room. Everything would have been executed perfectly if Chris hadn't saved me. He got me out of the fire and reported against his father. After he was proven guilty, Benedict Wilbur was fired from the seat of Congress as punishment.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's one of the lines I underlined because it's very crazy that he did like kidnapping, he did arson, he just did like general assault, he did attempted murder.
It's insane.
And
He
then
did like 4 felonies, and then they're just like, you don't get to be a senator anymore.
and they're just like having a picnic in the next paragraph.
Yep.
Which is crazy because, like we said, in this universe, it's illegal to get divorced, but you can do 4 felonies, and they're like, you don't get to work anymore.
Here's a funny line, and Ned put something really funny in it. So Chris and Alexandria's family meets each other and goes, both of our families met each other, and there were instant likeness and love, which I was super happy about. Except for Wilbur. He still hated me, and my feelings were mutual.
I just like the idea of this old like senator just like in his house, just being like, oh, fucker. Every time she comes over for dinner. The wife's like, come down. He's like, I don't want to see her. You know what she did to me?
I got fired from my House of Congress.
Well, Wilbur, you were no saint yourself. Now wash your face and come down for dinner. Right, honey.
Oh, Wilbur, you're such a stubborn old fool.
Are you still hiring men to kill her? Just stop it.
I swear, if you
He
had
walks through the windows or eating dinner, and she's like, Wilbur? He's like, I have no idea
and then
what you're talking about.
And then he looks at the camera and just says, "Does anyone have $1 million?" And that's all, folks. But it's not all, folks. Now, on page 79, very, very near the end of the book, we have our first kiss. Chris leans down, kisses her passionately, and then we find out her name, her last name, Preston, because he gets down on one knee and says, "Miss Alexandria Preston, it has been an honor being your company." And then he asks, "Will you marry me?" And she says, "Yes." I didn't let him finish the sentence. So they're engaged. He puts the ring on her finger, and I made a point to circle the fact that the ring is the blue and red hue inside. It reminded me of us, and I wrote, "That's politics, baby." Because that's about as political as it got.
Twist at the ending. If when you find out her last name is the same as his, and she's the brother she's been talking about the whole time, and she's just like a crazy person who doesn't like remember her own family.
And it ends with him asking, now that that's settled, should we go home and watch some animal documentaries, Mrs. Wilbur? He said with a happy smile. I chuckled, "Yes, Mr. Wilbur." So she got to her trauma real quick. That took an hour.
It's a lot happens in the book.
Wait, hang on. Alexandria Ocasio-Preston revealed. Very, very funny. All right, Travis. That was an insane book. But I got to ask you your final review of the book,
please.
I don't know. I couldn't stop reading it mostly because I was confused. Like the whole time, I was like, "Who made this?" I did underline like a passage I wanted to read when she's talking about the them protesting the weird marriage thing. She's talking about the signs they have, and they say equal rights for men. Women can be free, but men have to pay $1 million to be free. And I can leave someone whenever I want, and then one of them, the last one just says, "Feminists are screwed." They're all like slogans for like a Tim Allen sitcom, like the header on like a.
That's what made me think like maybe this isn't political at all, because like you introduce a bill saying men have to pay $1 million to get a divorce, and suddenly that hurts feminists. Like I don't see the connection, and I know these QAnon fucks, they like make jumps and leaps of logic that are like, you know, weaker than this. But it still was so fucking bananas to me. I really expected sex and politics in this, and I got none. This is a fucking waste of a book.
She does start off chapter 5 by going, "I woke up and I smelled eggs and burning toast," and then like 2 pages later, she's like, "He has very good cooking skills," and it's like you got woken up by burning toast.
But the wretched smell of
No, she had a stroke.
From all the bleeding,
Let's
bleeding
see
out
here.
she did in the
Val-
shower.
Hang on, we got a question in the chat here. Asking the big question, is divorce socialism? You know what? I actually read
Ooh.
a pretty interesting book.
Karl Marx once said, "Women, who needs them?" Can't live with them, can't live without them, folks. That's me, Engels.
By Kristen Goatsey, Why Women Have Better Sex Under Socialism and Other Arguments for Economic Independence. So, yes, divorce is socialism, democratizing your marriage, democratizing divorce courts. Under socialist regimes, true socialist regimes, divorces were easier to attain. Marriage was not seen as something to, like, boost you in society. It was seen as like, yeah, you know, we love each other. Like one of our coworkers is just like, you want to get married or so? Like, yeah, okay, yeah, like, all right. That's one of the arguments it makes. It says you have better sex under socialism because if you don't like, you know, one, it grabs your eye and makes you want to buy the book, and two, the argument that like you don't like fucking your husband, divorce him. You can marry someone else.
You don't have to have like a weird according to Jim marriage where you just hate this fat slob you got married to 20 years ago.
We're getting demands for smut. Where's the smut? Where's the smut? Hey, if you're in the chat, give us a book to read.
Yeah, well, so this gets compared a lot, I think, because of the cover to Chuck Tingle novels. I don't know if anyone's familiar with Chuck Tingle.
Oh, yeah, he writes all those
real wacky erotic. Not here. Let me throw some up on the screen here.
Oh, like those weird ones with like a cowboy with abs and no shirt on. That's called like Horny on the Ranch or something like that. What is it called, like Barnes Noble? Yeah,
pretty much.
It's like Horny on the Ranch, and my ass is taking it all. It's like really long, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Murder on the Ranch. Plus, I'm horny for Ding Dong. Some shit like that.
Well, some of them are like,
okay, here we go. Pounded in the butt of the handsome Twitch streamer.
the entire continent of Australia pounds me in the butt.
Executive Boner.
Dude, what'd you say?
There's one just called Executive Boner, and there's like dinosaurs. Are these real covers? Or are these like
these are real covers and real books? Yeah, and they're all like
dinosaurs. And why is that book called Boner?
And Chuck Tingle. Oh wait, Chuck Tingle would get y'all banned. Yeah. All right. So Chuck Tingle got a lot of questions like, "Well, are you behind this book?" And he really said no. Like he got like offended to the point. Like, I've looked into this book. This looks like Trump is trash. Like, I don't want anything to do with it. Having read it, I don't think it is Trump is trash. But this author has written some other titles, which we will be covering.
Oh, so are you going to read these? Are we doing I got them right here.
Yeah, I want to get Alec and Maria to read these with us. So we got Not My President, But My Lover. Who could #resist, which is listed as satire when these other books are not.
Interesting. I did not know that.
And then
maybe this author's like a Tommy Wiseau who's like, now he's like, yeah, The Room. It's like, I did it on purpose. I'm like a.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, no, it was a fun joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what's this other one?
And this one came out last Monday.
Very excited. Proud Boys, Capital Punishment, Stand By and Undress.
I think that one has actually a longer title than that.
Is it too soon? Is it too soon for a book like that? Oh, wait. Yeah, you're right. It's Stand By, Undress, Perfect Form.
Ah, fuck, I can't get to it.
Whatever. You're killing your Google algorithm if you keep this up.
This is the Effin Rager Google algorithm. Oh,
Okay. Wow. So yeah, that's the book and that's the other stuff. We had other stuff we wanted to talk about, but we're already at the hour, so might as well call it a night, I say, huh? Yeah. All right. Well, Travis, thanks for joining the book club. We really appreciate it. Would you want to read any other books by this person, or are you done for good?
No, I want to read that Proud Boys one.
Yeah, me too. I'm more interested in that one than the Trump one.
You know what's weird? So I have like a bunch of books I do read for my podcast that like are like about QAnon and stuff. So my iPad's just fucked. It's all just like QAnon Proud Boy books, and yeah. So I wouldn't mind adding that one to my iPad to read. I just want to see what's going on with. I want to see if there's any more sex in the Proud Boys one than the Call of Duty cover Antifa book.
He's got he does like Call of Duty. He's got a fucking ball gag. Like, surely something has to happen.
It's gotta. Maybe she's had sex since, and it looks like with Trump.
She fucked Trump, and now she's like, Proud Boys are gay.
Me writing about her body of work. It's like, yes, Jessica Stranger lost her virginity between the two crowning novels, My Antifa Lover and Not My President. Jesus Christ.
The book changed her, man. It opened her world up. Okay, well, speaking of your podcast, should we sing the plug song?
Yeah, let's get to it.
I want a new plug. Tell us what's going on. Tell us all the stuff you're doing after we sing this song. Travis, what do you want to plug today?
So I have a podcast with my friends Amador and Kenny called The Spin Doctrine, which is about right-wing, even like liberal kind of like psychopaths, liars, idiots. Actually, after this, I have to watch a Ben Shapiro produced action movie about a school shooting for the episode we're doing on Sunday.
Jesus, what's the name of that school shooting movie?
Yeah, Ben Shapiro made Die Hard, but it's about a school shooting, and I have to watch that after this.
Oh my god!
Yeah, it's like a fun time. I also started another podcast that we're going to be releasing soon called Giamatti by Nature, and we're just running through.
Yes.
Me and my friend Davis are just running through every Paul Giamatti movie.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun.
Do you have the first one picked out yet? What's your
We did the first one. We did it on Sabrina.
Sick.
The Ford movie. Because on the IMDb, his character had a name, but he has no dialogue in the movie. He's just like creepy and fat in it. So I just had to watch Sabrina. So the first episode, just me being furious. I had to watch the movie Sabrina. And that should be out soon. But yeah.
Oh man, I can't wait.
We have somebody asking for links. Do we have links to the podcast that we can post into? I know you just.
Oh yeah, here I can throw this Apple Podcast one up.
And then let me find the Spotify one, and I'll post the Spotify link one. Hang tight.
Travis, do you want to plug your Instagram? I like my favorite Instagram follow.
Oh yeah, let me see what my name is. Flat Earth Poppy _ under flat and Earth. Yeah, and I'm just memeing. Just on there memeing, baby.
I think I mentioned this before, but I have unfollowed almost everybody on Facebook except for you, just because I love reading what you post. I get a lot of my political takes from you. Are you on Spotify?
I got banned from Facebook for saying Tim Dillon isn't funny. And a bunch of people like reported me for hate speech.
Dude,
which is weird because like an hour before I said Elon Musk should die, and that's not the one I got. And I got banned, and I was like, okay, I'm free from Facebook. But then I got furious that I got banned by Zuckerberg, so I have a new one. If anyone wants to be friends on that hell site.
Yeah, you just have to find AJ Soprano.
The moment you're off Facebook, I'm deleting mine. I'll say that.
Oh, I'm never gone. Zuckerberg can't ban me. I'm unbannable. But
okay, I also want to promote my Instagram and Twitter, Cliftocurrency, and I also want to promote our Venmo, believe it or not, we were able to afford this book based on your generous donation.
Yeah.
We do this show for free. We do it for you because we love you. Please follow us at the very least. And if you would like to donate or help us buy, one of these other books, or if you have a book that you specifically want us to buy and you send us the price of that book, we will buy it and read it. We have the right to refuse. I just made a really big claim.
No, please walk back on it.
Someone won Infinite Jest. Make Connor read Infinite Jest.
You said it, R2. So hit that follow button, hit that Venmo button, and follow Cryptocurrency on Twitter and Instagram.
Follow at Net of the Dead on those things as well.
All right. That's going to wrap it for our first episode of Reading Pager. I want to do another one. This was fun.
Yeah, this is a blast.
All right. Catch us on Warzone. I got a PS5. All right. Bye, Travis. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yeah. Bye.